Advice Dog, Courage Wolf, Velociraptor. These are the faces that accompanied early meme culture in Web 2.0. Pre-ironic memes were the roundabout way of conveying little thoughts about our lives in a somewhat innocuous way. These little image macros used to be able to tell us about how someone is feeling more in depth without any pretense at one point. I want to take a look back at pre-ironic memes, how they were used, what defines them, how pervasive they are as a political force, and generally where we are with them in the irony cycle. This is Internet Iconography.
The net is fast and evil.
What makes a pre-ironic meme? Is it this? Or this? You can argue that these are certain elements of what we identify as pre-ironic memes, but I am willing to argue that pre-ironic memes have more to do with sincerity rather than what aesthetically defines them. For instance, here's a pre-ironic meme. Now, here's an ironic meme. Nothing about the aesthetics of the meme itself change, but its tone and theme. Many of us tend to misinterpret what a pre-ironic meme is when we judge it based off its aesthetic value alone. Just because something is drenched in irony or image artifacting doesn't automatically make it an ironic meme most of the time, although that is certainly part of its archetypes. Pre-ironic memes often do not have a spectacle other than the characters often attached that relay the message. Compare the reception and comments of places like our advice animals to
r/dank memes,
and you will maybe see what I mean here. The fact that the meme is tertiary in its function. Pre-ironic memes don't need to be self-referential or reflective. The easiest explanation of pre-ironic memes is this. It is a statement with strict window dressing. What you see is what you get, and there is a strict format to the messaging of pre-ironic memes for a reason. Many of these things define what a pre-ironic meme is, but one of the crucial facets of its conception is something that's almost never talked about. Data uploading limits? One aspect of meme culture that is not brought into discussion is the delivery or platforms in which memes are shared. The amount of data being transferred every millisecond is gargantuan. Due to the convenience of our quick internet, we take for granted how easy getting and viewing content is. Compound this with the burgeoning consumer push for software such as the Adobe Suite becoming more accessible, and just about anyone can start making content. This was not the case around 2010. The advent of pre-ironic memes like advice animals facilitated the restrictive nature of Web 2.0. These macro images made every byte of data count on whatever platform they were being distributed on. The platforms at the time were very limited. Memes are decentralized in their proliferation, but back in the mid to late 2000s, we had lolcats and other image boards that supplied memes. The only link to contemporary meme culture that is brought over from pre-ironic memes is not only the impact font, but many of the website's watermarks. Instead of preserving some type of intellectual property like they do today, these watermarks were only meant to promote and allow the sharing of memes to be more convenient. It's not just that the internet was a bit slower back then, but the limitations of website platforms as well. I distinctly remember outbound links on Facebook and MySpace many years ago just to share images. Size limits were lower than we thought back then, sometimes going below the 1 megabyte mark in some instances. Well, why is this important to the discussion? Well, consider that the means of communication defined how we shared and created this content. If the internet could have facilitated video more adequately and people had more ease of access creation tools, pre-ironic memes wouldn't have been as prominent as they were. With that said, let's examine them retrospectively and give a brief history. I know it's late in the video, but there's kind of a point to the structure of it. Pre-ironic memes were, and maybe still, one of the most used methods of symbolic communication on the internet. The advent of image macros has mutated the way our social networks and websites are fundamentally constructed. Modern websites are dominated by visuals such as pictures and videos. In fact, money and resources are poured into constructing feedback loops around consuming such images and videos. This is also the case for memes. Pre-ironic memes are still pervasive, seeing as they become a main source of online political discourse. And Facebook admitted to giving more attention to the meme pages algorithm around the 2016 election. Their use as a communication avenue led to the complete mutation of our political discourse, and subsequently infected other platforms as well. I don't really have the time or energy to go into the full ramifications of this, but this illustrates clearly that memes are pervasive as a political force. Memes, especially pre-ironic memes, have become a force in the realm of digital marketing. The advent of social media has allowed for alternative routes, with advertising and memes have become an extremely efficient way of doing so, whether that be directly through posting it on social media, or setting up an elaborate viral campaign through circulating an image in relation to your product. Some companies have taken this a step further, making their entire online persona around their characters have a canon all their own, main example being Wendy's Twitter. In terms of how pre-ironic memes are used in marketing, it drives up public consciousness through a familiar symbology seen on the internet, even though it's extremely antiquated most of the time. Internet memes were birthed out of a necessity for making the internet more visually communicative. Those who've helped to birth these memes are and or were among niche internet communities to begin with. Those who curated memes then and now make them out of a reaction to everything around them. The popularization of memes through cultural proliferation, whether that be organically sharing or a planned viral campaign, will lead to the obsolescence of pre-ironic memes' typical symbology. You also have to account for the growth of internet users over the past 10 years. In 2010, 28.8% of the world's population was using the internet. Compare that to 2020, that percentage is 62%. Considering the total integration of the internet in our daily lives, that percentage is higher than we account for. Despite ironic memes often taking the spotlight in contemporary meme culture, pre-ironic memes are still insanely popular on websites like Facebook. Facebook demographics often cater to older and more casual internet users, meaning that pre-ironic memes thrive on the platform. Therefore, you may see your grandmother sharing a very compressed image of a minion with sentimental or sarcastic text. While often not created by the shared user, it still works under the same principles of pre-ironic meme symbology. The sincerity and deliberate lack of awareness of the meme's intent creates a more honest and less vague sense of purpose. It's important to understand how pre-ironic memes came to meet this nomenclature. Our understanding of meme culture needs to have this definition for us to be able to define its history, and subsequently talk about the future of meme culture as well. There's a common sentiment around memes being circulated too fast, and in the days of pre-ironic memes, the organization and function of each meme served as a way of keeping these messages long-term and cogent. It is absurd to think that funny pictures of animals held such a cultural stranglehold over the internet at one time, and outside of the meme format of impact font on top and bottom text, you rarely see advice animals being used anymore outside of our advice animals. I'd argue this is for the better, all things considered, as I would rather have the memes we have today. Despite that, they might be the most fascinating due to their persistence and pervasiveness in culture. Hey everyone, thanks for getting through the entire video. I know this one's a little pedantic and dense, but I really wanted to put out another Internet Iconography soon, and I know I haven't uploaded all summer since June, and it's September, and I definitely have been having a hard time creating content lately, and I've been wanting to meet the goal of at least making a video every month, and that just hasn't been the case. But I definitely have had a lot going on. I'm moving soon, amongst other things, work responsibilities, so I mean, I do this as an occupation, not YouTube, but I do video as an occupation, so it's kind of hard to surround yourself with that after doing it for 8 or 10 hours a day, all depending. So hopefully you understand that, but I still want to make quality content and tackle a lot of ideas and stuff that I've had for a long time. So stay tuned. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I'll put my new Twitter link, since Twitter has banned me twice now, and even saying this might incriminate me, but also you can go to the Discord. Also, please subscribe. Subscribe. Other than that, stay tuned. I should have some more content coming down the pipeline, hopefully. Yeah, thanks guys.